So, like I say, Vietnam vets, not the smartest people in the world, that's for sure. So, LSD, methamphetamine, cocaine, just about anything you want, can be manufactured in four places or five places, maybe six places around the world. I believe Mexico has a chemical facility. Um, Also, there's one in China. There's one in Germany. There's also one in Russia, and there's also one somewhere else. Um, about four or five places, maybe six places, you can get LSD and methamphetamine and whatever you want, and it's 100% legal. You just walk up and basically they'll tell you go talk to someone. You go talk to that person, and then pretty much they ship it or they leave it somewhere, and you pick it up. Basically, they basically I think they give you a warehouse location, and you basically just go pick it up. They don't want to be there when you pick it up, but you pay the person that you talk to, and they don't really want to have any connection like that. You could probably pay them directly. I don't know, but basically, there's usually a go-between or a middleman, pretty much, and you basically buy it, and you buy a lot of it. They only sell in bulk, big bulk, like a truckload. It's not worth it otherwise. So because it's actually really cheap. So basically, you can get whatever you want. It's 100% legal in these countries. It's like, well, I mean, I made it legal. It's legal for me. I mean, I'm the manufacturer of it. I'm LSD or LS, basically. Like LSD is a Lucifer Star drug. So I have 4 or 5 chemical factories all around the world where it's actually legal in those countries. Because it's just a drug. So fucking what? So the Vietnam vets, they want to get this stuff, but I guess maybe they don't want to pay or something like that, or they don't like the prices, or I think they were thinking that they take over the place, and then they make the drug, and then they take all the profit. But there really wasn't much profit in it. I mean, we make so much of it, and it's not that hard to make. That yeah, whatever. Anyway, they just want a price what's called. They wanted an increase in their price, so they raid the place, and they end up shooting the scientists. The scientists make the drug. They shoot the Chinese guy that makes the drug, and then they get mad because they can't make anything. He knew how to make it. He knew the process, and they shot him. They killed him. Killed his whole team. Then got all mad because they couldn't make it. Like, they didn't know how anything worked. Like the number two chemical facility in all of China, and they shoot the people that work there. They raid it. They've been on vets, and they raid the place to force it. Anyway, they end up shooting them. So then, 1950, 1960 or something like that, they can't make the drug, and they've already killed one whole facility basically, or most of the staff. They ask, well, there's got to be another guy, and they find out that the lead guys for the place were all there, and they had just shot them. And yep, there's what's the name, there's what's the name, and there's what's the name. Those are the lead guys for the chemical factory. 6 people dead. They can't make the drug. They could make the drug. And I think they actually just thought of just playing around with it until they could make the drug. I think that's what happened. Anyway, in the end, they load up a whole bunch of barrels of some chemical because some guy somewhere says that they can make it if they just give them the chemicals. So they drive to this other guy. Of course, he can't make it. It sits in a warehouse for months or years, and anyway, it takes them years before they finally find someone that could actually make it. This happened like in 1950 or something like that. They could have just gone up and there's a guy, they talk to the guy and then they give I think they maybe didn't want to give him money or they didn't have the money. I don't know. It wasn't even that expensive. Like, it's cheap. It's really fucking cheap. When you find out how cheap it is, it's like, there's no money in this business. Like, we make drugs all the time. Or chemicals all the time. Like, that's what chemical factories, chemical facilities do. That's why I have LSD. A bunch of other things. Ecstasy, all that. I make them at either China or Germany or Russia or one of these places. At least I did. Until they tried to take one over and actually ended up shooting the staff. But I think the staff at 2 of the facilities actually died. And they actually had to put someone through school or something to figure it out. And meanwhile, these guys kind of play around with the chemicals until they kind of figure something out. That's known as acid. Has no relation to LSD. Not at all. Completely different process. You try and pass it off on the street. It's crystally. It gives you an effect. But it's basically so unrefined that it's dangerous. They end up giving like 50,000 people brain damage. Basically. Because they snort this stuff and then they get brain damage. Because it's not the drug. It's nowhere near like the drug. In fact, they waste the chemicals trying to make the drug. Or at least waste a lot of it. So they have to go raid another facility. Another warehouse. Anyway. These brainiacs. Like, seriously, you should look up what the Vietnam vets were doing and just realize how epically smart they are. Anyway, yeah, they actually went and grabbed the standby staff hostage and bring them in and threaten to shoot them and be like, make the drug, what's the guy, la la. And it's like, we're just assistants. Those are the guys. They're the chemists. They just happen to be there in a meeting and they shot all 5 of them. Normally they're not there. Normally they're in shifts. But they managed to kill all 5 of the top chemists at that factory. Basically put it out of commission. Whole building's out of commission. No chemists. No chemists that great either. They went to school for like 20 years to be chemists. Now they're dead on the ground. You should see. I wanted to see the video from that because it's like, oh fuck, man. So like they shot all 6 of the chemists, the top chemists. They just happened to be there in a meeting, and they storm in, and like the security guard has a gun or something. Anyway, but in 30 minutes, all 6 people basically get shot because one of them's like reaching for his phone or something like that. So they shoot him and shoot the other. They're all wearing lab coats too, so it makes it even better. Anyway, this happens in China. Like I said, you can thank the Vietnam vets for poisoning 50,000 or 20,000 people with something that is what they call bathtub meth, but it's or bathtub acid or whatever. But it's not even acid. It's nothing. It's just some nasty chemical that gives you an effect and basically causes brain damage. Has no relation to LSD. LSD is highly refined and very much specific, and the chemical process and how it's made. And they couldn't make it from 1950 on. So they were selling acid instead because it kind of gave you an effect and actually caused brain damage. Except you didn't know it for years, and depending on how much you used. But when you're feeling the effects or whatever, you don't realize how much damage it's actually doing. It's actually ripping apart their brains pretty much, and doing massive damage that was irreversible, and basically. Anyway, so they were just giving it out and selling it. Saying, yeah, man, it's LSD. Yeah, which is better than giving the person cyanide. But anyway, but yeah, they shot all the people at the factory. And they could have just walked up and bought it if they had cash or anything. Or even gotten it on loan or whatever. They paid them or paid whatever. Some way. But they wanted to get more profit. Not that there was any profit. For the chemical factory just makes it. There you go. They make no profit. Just by the time you pay for the chemicals and everything else like that, it's not even that expensive.